Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Elune. This is going to just be a dungeon run for 3 of the dungeons I think are just extraordinarily easy that you can do with almost 4 stars, 5 stars, and just basically no equipment whatsoever. So keep in mind, as we go into this video, I'm going to be using some insane gear, some really great units, some ascended stuff. Pay no mind to that. When I started doing base 10 of these dungeons, I was using 5 stars and base 6 stars and like level 30 gear. So keep that in mind going forward. Super easy, and you'll see as we go through. So the main ones we're going to use for the first battle is going to just be a paralysis team. The paralysis basically revolves around Chloe Vaughn. She is absolutely insane. She can do her job at, I think, 4-star or 5-star, definitely no problem. And we're all here just for her skill 2, which is the Shockwave Device Drop, which is a 3-turn paralysis. This needs to be skilled up. You won't regret it. She's absolutely bonkers. I also have her final one maxed as well, but you don't need that maxed whatsoever. Outside of that, honestly, those are the main ones. Also, Weiwei is also super important, and we'll talk about each individual unit in the actual battle. She helps a lot. I'm also using Gaonsari, and you can use a 4-star Gaonsari, no problem. We're just using him for his amulet, which lowers resistance by 10%. We also have the other important thing here for Chloe is going to be a full moon set. It says 25% chance to remove a debuff, but what that actually means is 25% more chance to land your debuff. So mistranslation error there. Anyways, let's get into it. These are all pretty simple. Darn it, I'm gonna have to refresh a full 250 stamina, I think. Rip my stamina. Oh well, it's okay. So we're gonna be doing the Trent and the Proto-T3. They're both fought the exact same way, 100%, and we'll get into it here. So the first team we're using is this one here. So we have our DPS at the front. It doesn't really matter who your DPS is. I used a Kai at first, but anybody works. I'm just using Baldur because he's awesome and fun. We then have Weiwei here. We then have Chloe here. We then have Gaonsari. You don't need Gaonsari, but 10% helps your chances of succeeding. And then I just have another DPS in Kang Rim. Anybody works there, anybody works there. You don't need a healer or anything like that. If you start to screw things up, you will just wipe. So that sucks, but it is what it is. And I also do the 36, and there's like a 10% chance I fail right off the bat, which I hope doesn't happen here. Also, for the other bosses, if you want to skip this one, I should have some timestamps in the description. Anyways, let's get going. So this is all about Chloe's second skill. All we have to do is paralyze and then beat him up. If the paralyze misses on the very first turn, I will just straight up lose. And I know with this team, I'm pretty sure my Gaonsari goes after my Chloe. So if I wanted to do this right, I needed Gaonsari to go before Chloe. But unfortunately, I wasn't really thinking, because why would I think when I build my units, you know? Okay, wow, Chloe goes straight up first. So again, our goal is just to land our skill 2. If we don't hit this skill 2 here, there's actually like a good chance we just lose. You know, like we just lose straight up. There's nothing we can do. But now that we have the boss paralyzed for 3 turns, how ridiculous is that? We just kill him. That's it. It's over. There's really nothing he can do here, and that's pretty exciting. I mean, pretty fun, right? And it's okay when there's boss battles like this, because not all of them are like this, and it's super fun to have different units for different strategies and have some just be absolutely bonkers. Let me close some stuff. I'm lagging a little bit. Should be better. And again, I do about like 5 times the damage I used to do when I started doing this. So keep in mind, this can take 10 times longer than it's going to take me. It still is fine. Okay, so we have 2 turns left on our thing, so all we're just gonna do is blast the boss. Like before, this used to hit for like 10k for me, and it's hitting for 72k now, so you can see the huge difference. We're gonna save our swap turn right now. All we're doing is DPSing right now and making sure he doesn't unparalyze. We're gonna save our swap turn just in case Chloe misses like 10 paralyzes in a row. That's actually all we're doing. And now that there's 1 turn left, we're going to start paralyzing. if I miss this one and the next one and the next one, the boss will get a turn and then we might lose, which is really unfortunate. So instead, we're just gonna pure DPS here. This is gonna be a pretty quick fight here. Get some attack buff up. Weiwei is also skilled up, but you don't need her skilled up, but it just adds so much damage and so much defense to your party. Not that you need the defense, but it is there. 2 turns left, don't want to use our paralyze, so we're just keep attacking here. And we're gonna swap back to Kang Rim. I don't think Kang Rim even does the most damage on my team anymore. He used to, but I don't think that's the thing he does anymore. So almost under 50%. Might as well. I skilled up Baldur's skill 2, so I want to see how much damage he does. This is like the first time I've ever really used him. 23k, not bad, not bad. So we have 1 turn left on Paralyze, so we're going to Paralyze. What do you know? We landed it. And again, stuff can go wrong, but you can do this forever. Like, as long as you swap your turns right, there's really, you have like 10 chances to Paralyze if it really comes to it. And let's try Baldur's skill 3. Baldur isn't buffed yet, so I feel like he's going to do so much damage after. 23k single target, so we definitely need some help, especially when an epic Chloe does this. 72k. She is just unfair. I feel like she's one of the best units in the game, if not like the best unit in the game right now. She's even amazing at one of the other bosses we will be doing that cannot be stunned. So that just kind of goes to show how bonkers she is. So we have 1 turn left on Paralyze, but we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to kill the boss because we just do so much damage right now. And you'll see why I have so much gear now. Like, when I started doing this, I had no gear whatsoever. But once you start killing these bosses, the amount of gear you get after each kill is just bonkers. And honestly, I have basically everything I need now for like 10 units outside of accessories. So all I'm really hoping for are accessories. Rings and amulets. Okay, so we got 2 Great Spirits and 1 Disciple of Elune. So pretty bad drop. Usually I get 4 pieces to give you an idea. So that's boss 1. You can do that with any stage of the boss all the way up to 10. And you don't need my units. You can use 4 stars, 5 stars. Anybody who stuns, if you don't have Chloe, find somebody who stuns. I know Reyna stuns. It's not as consistent, but it should still be fine. And for this one, we're going to do the literal same thing. I'm going to have to spend 250 of my gems to show you this. RIP to that. And this one is easier because if you screw up the first turn, or screw up as in you accidentally miss or get resisted on your skill 2 for Chloe, you don't die. So you can recover from that. Whereas the last one you can't recover from, at least with my team. Again, this guy, just as easy. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to show it just so you know. No, I don't want to do that, just in case. We're going to start off with an auto attack here. Get a stun going. Oh, resist. Okay, so this is a good example. Yay, that's exciting. That's exciting. So that's one example why Gansari needs to be before my my Chloe there, because that might have been prevented if we had the right debuff on him. I should have skill 2 there, but it's not a big deal. That's really funny. Okay, so now right here is where we start panicking. If we miss this one and the next one, we lose. And if you lose, you can't do it for the rest of the day. It takes all your entries. So keep that in mind when you're practicing this. I would do single entries until you know you can handle it. So now all I have to do is kill that little doggo, which this should kill it. And now we're stable. Now this boss isn't going to move for the entire battle again. I should have skill 2'd with Kang there because I might have been able to restrain him. I'm not sure if he's resistant or anything to it. And we're going to stay here at literal 0 HP the whole time because he can't do any damage from this point on. We have 2 turns left on that. Get some attack buff up and just start laying into him. And I just keep auto attacking to keep that amulet up. Get some skill 3 in. I'm not sure on the actual mechanics of how resistance and resistance over time work. So this is why I don't use Shockwave Drop when it's at 2. Just because I'm not sure if it has diminishing returns. Because when I was doing this earlier, when it felt like it was taking longer, I felt like I had more resist. I'm not sure if somebody can confirm that with me. I would love to know. So that's why I only do it when it's 1 or less. Resist again. So we got to resist. This is actually what most of my starter runs look like. So that's a little better. Another resist. Okay, perfect. This is exciting. I love when things screw up on stream. Usually I just like one-shot all of these. Nothing gets resisted. So we're at the point where we need to get... If he goes again, we lose, by the way. So one of these next 2 has to land, basically. So I'm going to defense buff up. Maybe that helps me survive an AoE. I've never actually been hit twice, so... Oh! The boy wants to play. That's exciting. So this is how you can lose. This is the only real way. And everything we do has layers to try to have this not happen. And again, we don't have a healer, so there's nothing we can do about this. That said, wow. That said, if we had just brought a healer instead of Gansari, we'd be fine right now. So I've never actually seen what his second ability does here. Okay, we're fine. Everything is okay. We're just gonna buff up, and we have like 3 more chances of stuns again. There we go. Okay, crisis averted. We are fine. Nothing is going wrong. That's so funny. When you get this boss under, I don't even know what percent because it doesn't matter, but once you get this boss low, he has like a self-destruct, and you have to kill him between X amount of turns. I think it's 2 turns, but when you're doing it the way I'm doing it now, it just doesn't matter because he doesn't get the self-destruct. And if he was to get a turn now, he would start self-destructing, not attack or anything like that, and we'd be fine, I believe. But he will die before that. That is so funny. This is definitely the sloppiest one of these runs I've ever done. There we go. He's dead, though. Oops, I meant to skill 3. Shouldn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, that's the first 2 bosses, and we're gonna go on to the third now. The third is a little bit more confusing. I actually tried to read the abilities, but there's like 37,000 abilities, and I just don't understand it all. But once you kind of play with it and realize how it plays, that drop is terrible. Absolutely terrible drop. But I did need the BJ pieces, which is okay. We're gonna do Imae now, and Imae requires the same thing, kind of, but it's an added effect. So now, not only do we need to stun, we also need to restrain. We also need to bring a mix of magic and physical DPS, which is why we have Baldur at the front. Again, I was using I before I used Baldur, but any physical DPS will work. We have Reyna here for restrain. We're gonna really need to restrain one of these options. She also has a backup stun if Chloe ever screws up, but outside of that last 5 minutes, she never does. Then we have Weiwei and Fabian. Fabian's just here as a failsafe. He's kind of like just a really solid unit that I like having. The fact that he can resurrect somebody, just like, if anything goes wrong, he can fix it. And this is a battle where a lot can go wrong. I'm honestly not going to explain a lot of the mechanics because they're just confusing. And if you do it this way, it'll be so much easier. But he can mind control your units. And if he like mind controls my Reyna and my Reyna stuns my whole team, I can die a little bit. So let's try to not have that happen. So for this, there are 2 forms. One of them is resistant to restrain, and one of them is resistant to paralyze. I can never actually remember which is which. So we're just gonna start off a little bit, get everybody safe and happy here, and we're gonna start off with a restrain. I don't usually CC the first one, so maybe we'll just attack through the first one. Let's try this. I think the first one is resistant to restrain. So restrain is what we should be doing on the first. But the first phase literally just doesn't matter. I don't think there's really anything that can go wrong here. He's being annoying, so I'm just gonna blast him because I've had enough of his shenanigans. So he'll be transitioning into a second phase soon. I'm going to bubble tea up, which brings my defense up, because when he transitions, sometimes he can be a jerk and like one-shot somebody, and Fabian is a safe fail-safe for that. Like, if he tries to one-shot anybody, Fabian just reses him. It's not a big problem, but I like to be careful just in case. I think we're 1% away from transitioning there. So I forget what that debuff is. I think that's disarm. I'm not sure. But anyways, let's just keep attacking. This phase is a joke, basically. We'll get our attack buff up. He's about to split into 2 different halves. There we go. So he's splitting into his other form now. This form is weak against Paralyze. So I should be able to just drop a Paralyze in. And I think it's at 70%. Anything under 70%, he moves into his next phase. So we want to push him from 70% to under 65% in one hit, if you can do it. I personally couldn't do that when I started, so I had to go through the next phase. But basically what the next phase does is give the left side immunity. You'll see what that means in a second. And you just have to kind of work through it. It's pretty easy. It's still fine, but stuff can go wrong. So if possible, try to get it as close to 70% as possible and then blow it up with one big hit. So we're going to do that here. I mean, that's pretty much as close to 70 as possible. So just to give you an idea of how much better my gear is now than before. When I was first doing this, when I used my Mikado gun here, and this was at 70%, I could not get it under 65% to skip the phase. I just couldn't do it. And now look how much damage we do with CP Mikado. We bring it to 48%. So that's the difference of gear between when I started and when I'm doing this now. So I should have gone through that last phase, but it's honestly the same thing as we're doing now. Just the only difference is the left one is immune and you kind of have to fight through the right one. So what we're going to do here, the left one is resistant to Paralyze, and the right one is resistant to Restrain. So we're going to try to restrain the left one. Restrain is always the hardest thing to land because Chloe's just so good at her job. Oh god! Oh god, somebody's dead. I didn't notice, but somebody got mind controlled. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. Okay, I didn't notice somebody got mind controlled. So we have Balder here mind controlled. That's not a big problem. There's a potential that he AoEs and kills my whole team, so I'm going to keep Bubble Tea up. Also, I forgot to mention, the left one reflects magic, the right one reflects physical. So we're just going to slowly start chipping away. And also, they need to die within, like, a turn of each other. So we're going to try to paralyze the left one here, or the right one. Okay, so we got the right one paralyzed, and at this point, I'm trying to decide what to do. Like, do I want to swap to Reyna to try to restrain? Or do I want to buff up just in case Balder's skill 2 and kills me? I think we're going to buff up, because if anything can go wrong here, it's Balder AoEing me. I just skilled up Balder's skill 2, so... Okay, so now we get a restrain chance, and once we get into restrain, should land. There we go, finally landed. So now this is basically identical to the last 2 bosses we did. Except we have to restrain one and paralyze one instead of just paralyze one. So we're gonna start beating up on the right one here. Oh god, how much does this do? Whew, I'm glad I buffed up. Okay, so we're gonna start beating up on the right one, and I'm gonna start attacking the left one with my magical damage dealers that are not too strong, because I really need to get them closer down, and my magic DPS is just so much better than my physical. So we're just gonna slowly cut it up again. Oh my god. Okay, we're fine again. And imagine if that was Reyna and Reyna AoE stunned my team. Like, how much of a crapshoot I'd be in right now. So 1 turn left on paralyze, so we're going to paralyze here. We got that landed. We're gonna attack buff up, and now that our physical DPS is out, we can start unloading on the left one. 2 turns on restrain, so we're not gonna bother restraining yet. We can't actually use our skill 2 because he might kill himself. He's not the best for this. You really want a single target DPSer. I'm going to attack the left one with Chloe 2. And you can see the damage we're getting reflected. So as long as you don't blow it up. Like if I use skill 3, I would for sure be getting my butt kicked. 35k, so they're at 29 and 25, 2 turns and 2 turns, so we don't have to do any sort of stunning or anything left, and we'll just keep attacking here. I don't want a Mikado yet, so let's do one more stun. It got resisted, so I have 2 choices here. One is to just kill it, and the other is to try to paralyze it again. I'm just going to try to paralyze it again. Okay, so now we're in the killing it stage. I can try to paralyze it, but one more paralyze is going to kill this thing. Actually, we have an AoE stun with Reyna that doesn't do too much damage, so we can try to get this off. Haha! She does it! Good job, girl. Okay, so now we can ignore that one and just unload on the left. There's also 1 turn of restrain left on the left, but it should be fine. It should be dead before then. Yeah, let's restrain here just in case. Perfect. Okay, everything is a-okay. And at this point, we're just going to absolutely unload on both of them here. I'm gonna Reyna the guy on the left and kill my Reyna, because why not? 60k damage back to her. Nice. But like we said earlier, this is why we have our Fabian. So we can rest just like this. You can do it without Fabian, by the way. Any other healer works, or anybody almost at all works, because you can heal through bubble tea if you want, but he's just a fail-safe, and you don't want to fail these because they take your entry once a day. Let's go here. I think we have the AoE up. This should kill both. Perfecto. Okay, so those are the 3 bosses, and you can see from our 3 bosses so far, we've had 6 pieces of gear. And I'm assuming we'll get at least 3 from here, so like 9 pieces of gear just from 3 bosses. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, so we got 6 pieces from this, so absolutely nuts. Still no accessories. All we really care about accessories. I have like 50,000 of each of these right now. But that is 3 of the 6 bosses here. I'm also killing Akatatatanen, but I have not really tried Iscariot, and I have not tried Democules yet, but I will be trying those out soon. I feel like I have the gear to take them on. So yeah, that's it for now. You can see, like, let's look at our gear. Let's look at our bag. I just resized my window. No, that's the worst thing. There we go. So you can see how many legendary pieces we have. We can just sort by legendary. Like, you can see how many we have just from a couple days of farming, you know? It really adds up, and you really don't need any gear to be able to get to this part. I just want to make that absolutely as clear as possible. The only thing that's really required IMO is a stunner like Chloe, and also preferably somebody like Weiwei, which you can farm for free. The rest are all use whatever you have. Anything works. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to see any more Elune content, please let me know in the description below. I'd love to do more from this game, but I'm just not sure what kind of content to give you. So if you have any questions or anything, please let me know, and have a wonderful day. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe because it helps out so much, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody!